Wagwan people, welcome to Well Past Podcast. I'm Denzel.
And I'm Devrika.
And this is a show where we talk about wealth, all things wealth,
Yeah.
real estate, military.
Everything.
All right. So, this is our much episode of that now?
I think it's 8.
Eight episode. Yeah, we took a
week off.
Yeah. Life happens. Yeah. So,
we're both going to school and everything. So we try to fit it in.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're back. Yeah, so we have another episode. This episode is about
home ownership.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about home ownership, but in a different way that we don't really talk about it much, especially on social media. We're going to talk about the other side, not the not so positive side of home ownership.
Yeah. We've been through that part.
We hear about the positive side everybody talk about and the whole trend of, home ownership is good, everybody buy a house. And then we see in 2020 when the interest dropped, that a whole wave of people, buy properties, which is good.
Yeah.
But we feel like a lot of times we're not educated on the things that are associated with owning a house.
That's true.
And we weren't educated in some things and we learned along the way.
Yeah.
I mean, we were educated in some, but there's some things that we really didn't know. And to prevent you from going through that, we're going to bring it to your attention.
Yeah, just share our experiences. May not be a lot. It's just, as I say, our experiences. There may be other things out there that we didn't experience that we don't know about. But yeah, just share our experience.
Yeah, and disclaimer, we're not licensed, mortgage brokers or realtors or real estate investors. Take our information at your own risk and always double check and do your own research. So don't blame us for anything. We're literally just giving it from our personal experience. Like I said, always research. If we tell you something or somebody tell you something else, do your own research. Validate it yourself. Trust and verify.
All right. So, you ready? No rock, paper, scissors?
Oh, sure.
All ready? All right, ready?
Yes.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right, you go ahead. All right, let's go.
So I'm gonna start off with something simple. What made you wanna get into home ownership? Just one simple reason. Yeah.
For me, I don't know. I just wanted to start early because, I remember, like back in the past, I have people that would preach to us saying that, we need to get just buy a house from early, invest in a house from early and reap the rewards later. Because, when you pay rent and all those stuff, it's not really going to anything really. You know. So that's the reason why. Plus, I got tired of renting an apartment. I wanted something bigger, I just wanted to feel like, the next thing too, I wanted to feel like I'm getting somewhere in life. You achieve a goal that you set out. Yeah, those were the main reasons why I didn't have much.
I have another question that follow up with that. To you, based on your experience or our experience, what is the difference between renting and owning?
All right, so owning. With owning, it's kind of like, for instance, you buy a house. You get a mortgage, you pay a certain amount of payment. So for instance, I would say, so 1,500, right?
Okay.
Your mortgage, flat, everything, taxes, everything, 1,500.
Yeah.
Right? One of the benefits of that, it's not looking towards, it's not going to be raised to a certain amount the next year. When you're renting, for instance, when you rent an apartment, all right, boom. Your rent is what, 1,500 this year? Next year it'd probably be 1,700.
Yeah,
60,
it can be.
It can be. I'm not saying mortgage don't change. We're not saying that, but not to an extent like how when you rent a place. Yeah. So
the landlady discretion.
Yeah.
So they decide that they want to add 500 also the rent.
Yeah.
And we see that going on right now.
right now. Yeah.
I know people that sometimes they went from having 2,000 to 3,000 just because they're trying to keep up with the market, and the market is going crazy. So that's your experience.
Yeah.
So one of the we want to talk about hidden fees. A lot of hidden. That's what we're gonna pay attention to. Hidden fees are fees that we don't really hear about. So we hear the trend on social media: buy a house, it's cheaper, this and that. We're not disagreeing, but we're gonna talk about the fees that people don't really discuss.
Yeah.
Maybe your realtor did, and other things, but a
Yeah.
lot of people don't talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
So you did mention that mortgage is
Yeah.
kind of like it stays a certain amount versus the rent, it goes up pretty much every year,
Yeah,
unless
yeah.
your landlord decides or landlady decides not to rent it.
Mhm.
But it can go anyway, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
With a mortgage, people tell you that, oh, you have the same mortgage, it doesn't
Mhm.
change.
Mm-hmm.
That is not true.
Mm-hmm.
Because in your mortgage, you have something called escrow.
Mm-hmm.
And the escrow is where your taxes and your property, your home insurance is.
Yeah.
So you have your interest. If you break down your mortgage, you have your interest.
Mm-hmm.
You have the actual amount that you're paying to your mortgage, which is separate from the interest. And then you have your escrow.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope I wrote that down. So when you buy a house, you buy your house at a certain interest rate. That is the interest that you're paying to borrow the money. You're paying the bank to borrow the money, so that's the interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the amount that you're paying down. So if you buy a house for $300,000, you are paying money towards the $300,000. You're also paying the bank their interest, and you're paying escrow.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the different things you're paying down. So the escrow can change. Your interest won't change. Your principal or your money that you borrowed won't change, but your escrow can change.
Yeah.
Why is that? We all know that insurance change their price all the time.
Every time.
So especially if you're in an area that like Florida that has a lot of hurricanes and this and that, flooding. We saw what happened just now with Hurricane Ian.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the insurance rates are going to go up for a lot of areas now
We
because
don't
of
know.
what just happened.
Yeah, we can see. We'll see.
Yeah. So maybe, that's why I said maybe, because, when insurance pays money out, they tend to start charging more.
Yeah, charging more.
If you have claims, your insurance rate it's just like your auto insurance.
Yeah.
So your interest rate, your home insurance probably was, I don't know, $1,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, it might be $1,100 a year. So there goes an increase. It may not be a big increase, but that's an increase. Your taxes change too. We all know that taxes doesn't stay the same.
Yeah.
So as time goes by, your taxes increase based on what's going on, if they increase.
Mm-hmm.
So those are things that affect your overall mortgage payment.
Yeah.
So compared to renting, it may not change as drastically as renting.
Rent. Yeah, that's what I was
So your rent may change hundreds of dollars, or it could double.
Mm-hmm.
But your mortgage may go up $50 a month,
Yeah.
$20 a month,
Which is-
$100. So it's not a
much.
lot.
It's not a lot.
Yeah.
So
But it's just something for you to know that if you have the house for 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
your mortgage is pretty much maybe not going to stay the same for 30 years.
Yeah, but
It may go up $50 each year.
Each year, but
But it's not as you can kind of prepare for it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah,
a drastic change like that, unless
Yeah.
something specific
and then
happens.
sometimes sometimes you don't even really, it's not really so much of a big thing, is because like I think almost not saying everybody that has a 9 to 5, it changes for them like every year, the paycheck
Yeah.
probably go up. So lots of times, sometimes you don't even realize it's not really a big issue so far. The first we experienced it was what, earlier on this year or last year, when we had the second property and we got the mortgage, and we were like, yo,
It went up like
big.
$150.
Yeah.
Which
We were
I
like,
thought
yeah.
was drastic, but
Yeah.
the only reason why it happened is because of the taxes.
Yeah.
So that's why I said it's not. So your principal, like I said, which is the amount that you initially borrowed, as it pays going to go down because you pay off your money,
Mm-hmm.
it goes down.
Yeah. Mhm.
But your interest won't change unless you refinance or something happened when you change your interest.
Mhm.
But when it comes to the escrow, that's a thing that usually kind of moves. So, like I said, we're no expert. We just want to throw that out there so you do your further research. Another one, home warranty.
Well, I wouldn't say that's a hidden fee because,
Okay.
well, yeah.
Well, the reason why I call it a hidden fee is it's not hidden,
Mhm.
but it's fees that you don't hear about. So I'm
Yeah,
just
so,
calling it.
alright, yeah,
I'm
so,
just
alright,
calling it
home
hidden.
warranty.
How many
Yeah.
of you really know what home warranty is?
Mhm.
That's another thing. I didn't know what home warranty was
I never knew.
until I got into the house. And a lot of people, they'll ask and I'll mention home warranty. They're like, never heard of it. So that's why I call it hidden fee.
Yeah. Okay, understood.
Yeah.
Yeah. I at first, yeah, as I said, we didn't know what it was. Based on my experience with home warranty, I do like it. The pros with home warranty is that one, you can say for instance your AC is broken. When the AC is broken, you can call home warranty, right? Now, when you call home warranty, you pay a certain fee, probably like what, $100 or it depends.
Yeah, it depends on the company.
It depends. But based on our experience, we paid like between $100 and $150. Yeah.
We
But when
paid about $50 a month.
well, not the monthly. Me just talk. I'm talking about like when them come to
Okay,
service.
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
deductible.
So there's a monthly
Yeah.
fee. Yes, ours was what, $50 a
Yeah,
month.
we pay about $50
Yeah,
a
and
month.
there was like when we have like certain issues, like if the AC broke down or anything like that,
Yeah.
we paid a deductible of like $100 or $150.
Yeah, it depends on your
And
company once
yeah,
again.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the good thing is that they will come and fix it. A lot of times we didn't pay anything.
Except
Yeah.
deductible.
Yeah, except the deductible. So like for instance, if the AC was broken and it will cost probably like at least $1,500 or so to repair, we didn't pay anything. They took care of that. You know, the only thing we paid was the deductible plus the
regular monthly fee.
the regular monthly fee, which was $50 a month. So that's a good thing. The con with home warranty is that a lot of times they are not on time. You understand me?
It takes a while.
It takes a while.
Sometimes.
Yes, sometimes. And as I say, it all depends on the company. We're just talking based on our experience. We've had situations where the AC was broken, what,
2 weeks.
check, yeah.
Yeah.
2 or 3 times.
Oh,
and
yeah,
like,
yeah.
2 or 3 times. And like one of the first times they didn't come until like 2 weeks. So we had to like use a fan for the whole 2 weeks, you know?
Sleep downstairs. Because downstairs sometimes was cooler because hot air rises.
Yeah. So guess what? I rather sleep with the fan than and wait 2 weeks than pay $1,500. $1,500.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. I can live with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the con with home warranty. There's a lot of times they take a long while to repair whatever broken appliance that you have in the house. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and plus, as I say, home warranty takes care of a lot of the stuff in the house. Like for instance, with us, it was the
appliances,
AC, fridge, stove, all those stuff.
Yeah.
They took care of a lot. They tend
to cover like ceiling fans. If you have a garage door opener.
Yeah.
You know, like major appliances and things that you have in your house. Your stove, refrigerator, your dishwasher, like you said, AC. Just anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, your whole HVAC system. Things that can break, they tend to cover it.
Yeah.
If you have a doorbell, sometimes they cover it. Anything that is like inputted into the house. Certain plumbing, they'll take care of some form of there's limitations and everything, but for the most part they'll cover plumbing, some electrical stuff, but it has specific things. I was going to talk about another con. So the waiting time is long. Another one is that a lot of times they have specific technicians that they work with, that they have a contract with. Yeah. So you can't get up and say, oh, I'm going to find my own technician and go. A lot of times, it depends on the company, but a lot of times they have like a network. You know how you have a network, your doctor, medical. So they have to work with that technician. So that's another reason why it takes long. Because that technician is not available, they don't answer their phones, they're busy, you have to wait for that technician. And based on the company that you have, sometimes they only have one or two in your area.
Yeah,
you know, or they use a neighboring state. Like for us, when we're in Virginia, sometimes we were using people from North Carolina. You know, another one, I would say they don't always cover everything.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff where you had people that complain about, you know, this is not covered and they can't figure out why. So you know how it is with these companies sometimes. So that's the next thing. The home warranty is not a must. You don't have to get home warranty. It is a choice.
Let's say for first time home buyers, it's advice. I would advise you to get it. You understand me? I would advise you. Yeah. For first time home buyers.
Yeah. But just to clear it, you don't have to get it. It's a choice. When you buy a house, you don't have to get home warranty. It's literally your choice. So do your research. We did it and we're glad we did. We could save a couple $1,000 by doing it. Like I said, research on the company, see if the company is a good fit for you and go on.
And especially if you're not buying like a brand new house. Yeah, trust me, because we didn't buy a brand new house. I mean, we didn't have a lot of problems with the house. Yeah, but it's just mainly.
But things break.
Yeah, things break. You just have to you know, have that on your mind. Say, yo, you have a house, things it's gonna break. You know, so yeah.
So for VA loan, you don't need a down payment. For FHA, you're gonna need some down payment.
Yes.
For other conventional loan, you're gonna need some down payment. But if you have an investment property, you might need 20% down payment. So it all depends on the type of property you're trying to get. But just know that if you're looking to get a property or you want to be a homeowner, there's some down payment involved unless you are a VA loan homeowner type of thing.
Yeah.
So we're not going to get too deep into how much you need. Speak to your realtor or mortgage person about that.
Yeah.
but just know that there's usually a down payment needed to get this property. Now to the closing cost. Now, what I was talking about, the closing cost now is what goes to what I was mentioning: the administrative fee, the mortgage fees, all these tied to all these different things to get your stuff ready for closing. Because closing is when you get the keys to your house.
Yeah.
So all these fees that get you to that part, there's usually a closing cost. Now, the thing about closing costs, you don't always pay it because sometimes the seller pay the closing costs.
We've experienced that too,
Yeah.
which was good.
Yeah. So that's something that you work out with between you and your realtor and the other realtor and your seller. If the seller decides that they want to pay the closing costs, then you kind of get away with it. If they want to pay some of it and you pay some, just know that there's something called closing costs.
Question. Since you mentioned the seller paying the closing costs, I don't recall, but is there a certain advantage for the seller when he or she pays the closing costs?
A lot of times, based on what I know, like I said, we're not licensed. If they're trying to get rid of the house, quickly, and trying to get it off the market, they tend to give incentives to have people buy the house.
Got you.
And that usually is an incentive. Like you are trying to buy the house from me, right? I'm the seller, and I'm not really getting a lot of traffic, or I'm just trying to get rid of it right now. So me saying, hey, I'll pay the closing cost is going to be attractive to you.
Yeah, understood.
Because that's less money out of your pocket. So let's say the closing cost was $10,000, right? Now you save $10,000 and I just cover it. So that's I'm sure there's other reasons maybe.
Yeah.
But
I wanted to, I know you know a lot more than me when it comes to that. So that's why I was like trying to remember if there was a certain advantage when that person, he or she.
I'm sure there might be more, but based on what I've read and what I've known and what I've seen, because one of our properties, it was an investor that we bought it from. And they were just trying to get rid of it. Nothing is wrong with it, but they want to get rid of it. So they paid the closing costs. Another property that we got, they didn't pay the closing costs. But they didn't need to, because like in this type of market, or especially in 2020, 2021, when the prices were crazy, there was more buyers than sellers. So because there's more buyers, they didn't have to pay closing costs because there were so many people that wanted their house. Right. But if there's more sellers than buyers, they may use that as an incentive to get you to come buy their house.
Good way to look at that.
Yes. Another fee. So we mentioned closing.
Yeah, we
mentioned down payment. We mentioned, I talked about escrow.
We talk about escrow. We talk about warranty.
Yes. Another one is appraisal.
Yes.
And the inspection. So I've heard of people that don't do appraisals and that don't do inspection. That depends on the market that we're in, what you're trying to get a fixer-upper. Maybe you're trying to get investment property. Because if it's a fixer-upper, you know a lot of things are broken. So you may not even want that. But we're going to put these fees out there. Like I said, you do your research. So appraisal.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Let me see. Let me talk about a little bit about it. Appraisal is when you did like a whole evaluation of the property. So everything when it comes to, like, for instance, square feet of the house. They evaluate they evaluate the price. The value. The value of the house. I mean, yes, you're right. But I was just looking at it like when I try to explain it in a more like simpler terms. But yeah, you're right with that. What we just speak about evaluation. The next one was appraisal. Sorry.
Yes, appraisal.
So appraisal. Then the other one was what? Inspection. Yeah. Oh Lord. No, that's
so we'll go back to appraisal because we rushed over that one. For appraisal, you're going to buy a house. Let's say the house is marketed for $200,000. What you want to do with appraisal is find out, is it really worth $200,000? So you hire somebody, and this is usually you pay for it. The person that's buying the house, usually you pay for it. You may, I don't know, I'm gonna throw it. Let's say pay somebody $500 to appraise your house. This person come out and they check the square feet of the house. They verify the square feet of the house. They check the surrounding properties. They check the price of the properties that sold recently. There's a whole lot of different statistics and market updates, and they check the condition, a whole bunch of stuff to see what the house is really worth. And you want to know this because it may talk about equity. So the house is listed for $200,000 and it's valued at $220,000. Then you have a $20,000 equity in the house. All you did to get to that number is minus the value, minus the what it's selling for, what you're buying it for, from the value. So it's selling for 200,000, but let's say it's valued 220.
Yeah.
No, you have $20,000 equity.
Yeah, it's kind of similar. Like the appraisal is kind of like similar to where you're explaining. It's kind of like similar to comps, you know, when the house comes in the area. So we check the value of all the houses and then compare to yours. Yeah, so it's kind of similar to comps.
Because the comps help, because when a house sells expensive, it kind of brings up the value of your house. Yeah. And then the bad part about it's not bad, but it's good for you to know if you do an appraisal and that same house is 200,000, right? And the appraiser come at 190, that means you're spending 10,000 more than it's valued.
Yeah.
So it's good to know these things about it, and it gives you just an idea of the area.
Yeah.
Back to your talking about inspection now.
Inspection. So that's when they come out now and inspect the property. Make sure so the property is fit, especially with what city code and all those stuff. Yeah, that's what I know about inspection. I mean, upon my experience.
Well, you know, if you have anything that you don't understand, ask, because the question.
The thing is that, you know, as you know, I normally ask you this stuff, but the thing is that when it comes to like real estate, you're well versed with that. Yeah,
I know enough.
You know enough. You know more than me. You know?
I know enough, and that's it. Just based on what I've read. Once I'm interested, I look it up.
So because like, I think it's because like I'm not so much in that space anymore, you kind of tend to like lose certain things that you remember and all those stuff. So yeah, that's what I remember pertaining to.
But the good thing about what's going on with you, you're not remembering. If there's a question that pops up, I want you to ask. But because somebody else that listening or watching may have that question, so that's why, and I don't think about it.
So that's why I asked you throughout the episode. I don't remember what I asked you. That's why I asked you. I remember. Pertaining to what advantage does the seller have when, Yeah, so if I don't know it, I'm going to ask. Yeah. So what do you have to learn?
Yeah. So for the inspection, you pretty much just want to know what's broken. What's not working, because we all know if somebody's trying to sell a house, they're going to say that this house is the best house. Everything is fine. A lot of times that's not true. And you want to know your main things, like your HVAC. HVAC is one of the most expensive things that we've experienced. The roofing, is there a leakage? If there about to be a leakage, roofing is expensive. And foundation of the house.
Yeah, because like I remember when I said like it's BS. One of the main thing inspection is like making sure that your house is up to, like, for instance, a city code, right?
Yeah.
Like make sure like we've not had that experience, but like people around us had the experience where you're like, okay, somebody is selling them this house, right? And they'll be like, okay, yeah, we have 3-bedroom house, 2-bathroom, this amount of square feet. And when the inspector go in now and be like, oh, okay, this is wrong. This is wrong. And like, no, this should be here. All sort of stuff. Like, I don't remember, you were telling me the story the other day pertaining to a family member that had the same experience with the house, that she wanted to buy the house, and when the inspector came in and checked, and he was like, a lot of things were not up to par, people. It was not up to par, especially with the city. So you need to
Another thing, go ahead.
Go.
Yeah, I was going to say, pertaining to what Denzel was just mentioning, when you buy a house, Caribbean people tend to do this. We feel like, okay, we buy the house, it's ours, we do what we want with it. That's not true. You need permission to do certain changes. You can't just randomly put a bedroom that wasn't there and turn the house from a 3-bedroom to a 4-bedroom. Because I'm not saying you can't do it.
But
it's
you
just
can,
not. There's things that you have, procedures you have to go through with the city or the state to get verification or approval, or even the HOA get approval of this. So a lot of times you buy a house and it says 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. When you actually walk it, it's actually a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, but they cannot put that on the listing because it's not legal.
Because
it's not legal. So that's what he's mentioning.
Yeah, so we tried, like, I think with one of our houses, we tried to we had 2 living rooms, and we tried to use one of the living rooms. We tried to turn it into a bedroom.
We didn't try.
I mean,
we thought about it.
We thought about it, yes, but it still required. We had to ask permission to the city and everything. Yeah, so that's an example of what I was talking about. Yeah.
So that's like the basic ones. Another fee that I want to talk about is PMI, which is private mortgage insurance, I think. I'll verify with you guys and put it below. But PMI is an insurance that you get, and just to put out there, VA loan doesn't require PMI. But if you have less than 20%, equity on the house, is at a 20 or 25% equity on the house, you're required to have PMI.
Yeah.
So just put that out there. So if you have a conventional loan, FHA, any one of those, except the VA, that's the except one that doesn't need PMI, you are required to have a PMI. And it's an insurance for your mortgage. And you can look that up some more. But once you reach a certain equity, like I said, I think it's about 20 or 25% equity. And I spoke about equity. So if you have a house for 100,000 and you only owe 80,000, you have 20% equity. If you owe 60% of that, the value of the house, you have 40% equity. So it's all based on the value of the house.
Gotcha.
But like I said, if you have like 25% equity, then I believe you are not required to have the PMI. And let's say you've been paying PMI and you realize that you have that amount of equity, you can contact your lender and see if they can remove that PMI fee. But they're not going to reach out to you and ask you to remove the PMI. You have to contact them to remove it, because who want to start making money?
Yeah. Got you.
So
Gotcha.
Is there another thing you can think about?
HOA.
Oh yeah.
HOA.
Speak on that.
So yeah, HOA. HOA, Homeowners Association.
Yeah.
No, HOA is simply this. So if you live in a certain community, right, and they said, okay, you have to pay us HOA fee. Say for instance, like what, $40 a month. No,
that's a very cheap one.
Yeah,
by the way.
very cheap one. That's for the upkeeping of the community. I mean, that's what they say. A lot of them don't even do a thing, trust me, because we've had that experience. Our first house, we didn't even know we had HOA.
After we moved in and got the keys and we're living there, we got some mail saying that we need to pay HOA. It was never disclosed to us. We had to reach out, like, what are they talking about? What is HOA?
HOA, because like, because we know, like with HOA pertaining to like apartments. I mean, some apartments, is it all apartments? I don't know.
Condos and stuff,
yeah. They ask for HOA fee, so that, as you know, it's an upkeep of the surrounding, the property.
Areas, yeah.
So they, the lawn cutting, all that, the sweeping, all that stuff of the street and all that stuff. So yeah, that's one thing that we had experience with. First time we didn't know that we had it, at first, because I remember I didn't cut the grass for like a certain, like what, probably around almost a month. I didn't cut the grass, and the grass got to a certain level, and then we receive a letter saying, yo, our grass is too high. It's higher than everybody in like in our
I think it's supposed
street.
to be like 6 feet.
Yeah, it was
6 inches.
6 inches. Yeah. And it was very high. So I had to like, get the lawnmower and start cut the grass and everything. Then the same day I was cutting the grass, that's the same day the HOA guy came around and he was driving and he was like, oh, yeah, I came to check up on you because like, they were about to like probably just give me another letter or another fine, just for say, I need to cut the grass. But yeah, that's how we learned that we had HOA. So that is HOA, like the upkeep of the community.
Yeah.
So like, for instance, if you have a pool, in the community, they take care of that. So the monthly payment that you are making, it goes towards those stuff, so that's HOA. Anything you want to add to that?
I covered it,
Okay.
If you have a fancy community and you have more amenities, it probably will charge you more. If you have very minimum things, of course, it'll charge you less. But it's just another fee we want to throw out there.
Yeah. So it comes with it. Yep. And
yeah, that wrap up all the fees that we have listed. So we can do a recap. So we did the escrow,
warranty.
We did home warranty. Yeah.
Appraisal,
inspection, down payment, closing costs. And you just talk about HOA. So that's 7 things. If we miscount, then we apologize.
I mean, we always, here's the thing, guys. We're going to always come back and talk about real estate.
Yes.
And I think we're going to have an episode with somebody that's, that's their field.
Yes.
So definitely. So whatever questions, when it's near to that episode, we'll just let you know. And then whatever question you guys have, we'll just like, talk about that.
Yeah, to wrap up, I have statistics. I haven't brought those statistics in a long time.
Yeah. I mean,
I think about 2 weeks.
Is it 2 weeks?
2 episodes. Yeah, 2 or 3 episodes.
I just feel like it was statistic every episode.
No, I didn't do it the last 2 episodes for sure. And it's going to be relating to the topic as well. It's always good to get an outlook.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't mind. I like when you do it. So
yes. So this article that I'm reading is actually from listwithclever.com. So this is 2022. So this article was from August 3rd, 2022. So a month ago, or a little bit over a month ago. So it says 52% of homeowners, and they surveyed 1,000 people. So 52% admit to the true cost of owning a home, surprised by them. So 52% admit the true cost of owning a home surprised them.
Okay.
So that means that most people were surprised by the true cost of owning a home, which is why I want to speak about this. A lot of people really don't know about these
that's
costs.
true.
And then it says the average homeowner shells out an additional $15,405 each year on top of their mortgage, right? So this is when they're actively in the house living in it. They shell out or they pay an additional $15,405 each year on top of their mortgage payment. And they broke it down saying that utilities, the average homeowner spent, this is in the US, the average homeowner spent $4,829 on utilities, $3,300 on home improvements, $3,018 in maintenance and repairs, $2,578 on property tax, and $1,680 on home insurance. So this kind of gives you a little bit of what's going on with that. And then it says the altogether, these costs have increased by over $2,000 since we had last surveyed homeowners in 2019.
Got you.
So, we spoke about the different types of fees. I know I gave you statistics, which the most important part I want to pay attention to is 52% of homeowners weren't aware. They were surprised of a lot of these fees. And I see another one. A majority of homeowners, which is 60%, have experienced buyer's remorse, including 1 in 4 homeowners who say they often feel buyer's remorse. So, and then another one, this one, that's the last one I'm going to read. It says more than 70% of homeowners regret at least one aspect of their home purchase. So,
talking about that though. So,
make it quick.
Yeah, right. Did you have any buyer's remorse?
So I had a little bit of buyer's remorse when we started having HVAC. We're in the house for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And had HVAC problem 3 times. And HVAC problem tend to happen when it's the hottest or when it's the coldest. when it has to work. And then, and it's because when we were used to living in a rental apartment.
Yeah.
And a rental apartment is called the leasing office and they figure it out. With this, you are the one figuring it out.
Yeah.
So that's, but like I said, it didn't last long.
Yeah.
Because I always think about the end goal.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's kind of like, it's an investment. You have to look at it that way. If you buy like a first time home buyer, I would say, like, for instance, your first home, make it an investment home. Like, I don't think you should like based off our experience. Don't make it like your home. Like, okay, that's your dream home. I mean,
not an investment home.
I mean, well.
So what you're trying to say is, don't make your first house your dream house.
That's what I'm just saying. That last part.
Yeah, because investment home, guys, is different. Investment home is not you living in it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yes, but we have to clarify for those listening.
So don't do that. Yeah. So for instance, like with us now, the long term thing that we had in mind was that, okay, you know what, we're not gonna be living in it for a long time. After we move out, we can rent it, we can Airbnb, we can sell it and make a profit or whatever. So that was our main goal on that. Like when you talk about like the fixings of stuff. Honestly, when things happen in the house, like things broke, I kind of got excited, to be honest, because it like challenges me, to like, fix it as a man, like, okay, you know what, like try, because I always say like when things broke in the house, I always like, wanted to fix it and everything. So to be honest, there were certain things that I like about that, but save money in my pocket same way still, to be honest. Yeah, but yeah.
I wanted to bring this, probably hopefully takes 2 minutes. So I had a question a couple days ago before we released this episode on myth, like that people, I put it on our story. So if you're interested, I always post things on our story and you can respond. So that I wrote that, what are some myths that you've heard about pertaining to home ownership? And one of our viewers / listeners responded and said that the myth to them is that owning a home is cheaper than renting. So they say that's a myth to them. Home owning is cheaper than renting. So in her opinion, she's saying that she thinks it's more expensive than renting, because a myth is something that is not really true.
Yeah.
So you have 1 minute to respond to that. Quick.
Let's see. She said it's a myth.
Yeah, 50 seconds
I
now.
don't know, lad, man. Take time with me now. Take time with me. Not really. Not really, to be honest. As I said at the first time, right? Like the first part of the episode where I said, like, for instance, when you buy a certain house and your mortgage is like what, 1,500, just look for it to be like probably like 1,550 the next year. When you normally rent, right? Your rent is what, 1,500. By the next year is like what, probably like 1,700, 1,800. You understand me? So that's why, yeah, yeah, there are certain things, there are certain homes that, yeah, maybe more cost a lot more mortgage than a certain average renter or whatever. But yeah, I would stick with the mortgage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
It's hard to judge things in this market because in this market, you know, the whole recession and all that's going on. So this market is not a good judge because interest rates are high. People are having 7% interest rate, 5% interest rate. So that makes the cost of the homes higher. So I understand what you're saying in terms of home ownership being more expensive. But whenever the market levels out, it would make more sense because last year people were getting 3%. 2020 people were getting 2%. So it's not a direct answer. But here's my question to you. If you were getting a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, backyard, front yard, garage, all these different things, what would be cheaper? To rent that place or to buy that place? Because remember, if you're going to compare to an apartment, it's not a fair comparison.
Yeah.
Because an apartment, you don't really get a backyard. You don't get the privacy that you get. You know, you don't get the freedom that you get. You probably don't get the front yard, but just get a balcony. Is the size of your room is the same? You know, do you have all these things? So you cannot compare an apartment with a house. But like, once again, you see a house right there on the street. Do you think it would be cheaper to buy that house or to rent that house? I'm pretty sure it might be more expensive to rent it.
It's going to be more expensive to rent.
So you have to think about that.
Yeah.
So that is my two piece. It's hard to really judge it in this market with high interest rate. But in terms of long-term interest rate, it's gonna well, you're having a mortgage is gonna make it, you know, kind of stick to the same price range over the long, where rent can double, triple, you know, and the money that you're paying to rent, you're not getting it back.
Exactly. So that's the whole thing.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing I look at when I was purchasing a home, the long-term goal.
Yeah.
Which so that's my take on it.
Yeah, that wraps up this episode.
this one was like a really short one, you know.
Yeah.
Getting back. Yeah, so as well, episode 8.
Yeah, I believe it's episode. I apologize if it's incorrect, but I believe it's episode 8.
Yeah. So we coming up again, people. you know, sorry for the break. You know, as we say, life, things happen.
Yeah.
So so as I always say, stay safe and
go feed.
All right, people. So see you.